My wife and I like to watch home remodeling shows. Dave and Jenny Mars on Fixer to Fabulous, Ben and Aaron Napier on Hometown, and many others. One of my favorite things is when they find a secret room, one that's completely closed off, doesn't have a door into it. It's been covered over, and they don't know what they're going to find when they break through the wall into that room. Or sometimes it'll be a secret cellar or basement that they didn't know was there, and they tear open the floor, and there is this large space that they didn't know about. And there's just something about finding a secret doorway. Hopefully, it leads to something wonderful and not to something disgusting. Or hopefully, they can make something wonderful out of it, and a lot of times they do. We will be looking at one of those secret doorways into wonder in literature, only in this case, it's a wardrobe. Greetings, legendary readers. Welcome to Larry's Legendary Library, where we explore science fiction, fantasy, and the deeper wonder within them. Today, we'll be looking at the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. More specifically, we'll be looking at the wardrobe that is a doorway into wonder. Originally published in 1950, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe featured a group of 4 siblings exploring the home they're visiting of a relative. And as Lucy is opening the wardrobe and begins to walk through the clothes that are hanging there, suddenly she feels tree branches, the temperature changes, and she steps through an ordinary piece of furniture and discovers something extraordinary. A snowy forest, a lamp post, a fawn carrying parcels, and suddenly fantasy felt different. What makes the wardrobe such a powerful doorway into wonder is that it begins with something completely ordinary. It's not hidden in a distant castle. It's not guarded by dragons. It's not buried beneath an ancient ruin. It is sitting there in a spare room. Lewis exposed something important. Wonder often begins with the familiar. Lucy isn't searching for adventure. She's just exploring. One step and then another, and the coats become thicker and the space becomes deeper, and before she realizes what's happened, she has crossed a boundary between worlds. And perhaps that's how you felt when reading the book. You opened the book expecting a simple story, but you discovered a world that stayed with you for the rest of your life. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that world is Narnia. But the same thing can happen with other books. Maybe it's Middle Earth, maybe it's Earthsea, or maybe it's some other world entirely. The wardrobe represents that moment when reading stops being just an activity and it becomes a journey. It becomes an adventure. It becomes a doorway into wonder. These doorways into wonder really impact us. It makes us believe, at least for a while, what if there is something more to reality than what we see? What if there is magic waiting just beneath the surface? What if the world is much larger than we imagine? And Lewis gives us the answer. Yes, yes it is. But there's another layer here. Lewis and others weren't simply writing about escape. He was writing about transformation. The children who enter Narnia do not return unchanged. They learn courage. They learn sacrifice. They learn faithfulness. They learn that good and evil are very real. And they learn that choices matter. The doorway leads not just to another world, but it leads to a deeper understanding of our world. And perhaps that is why The wardrobe continues to resonate even after more than 70 years. It reminds us that wonder is not an end in and of itself. It is a doorway. And that wonder invites us to grow. That wonder invites us to become something more than we were before we stepped through the door. And perhaps that's the greatest doorway of all. Not the one that leads to Narnia or other worlds, but the one that opens within us when a story captures our imagination and shows us a larger world. There are a number of doorways into wonder found in fantasy and science fiction. Which fictional doorway would you most like to step through? Let me know in the comments. I always love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep exploring the deeper wonder.